Okay, welcome back. This is the third video in our series on skill-based intervention or skill deficits. During this video, we're talking about how do you assess for a skill versus a performance deficit. So you want to identify what your skill is. Remember, check and make sure that you do this for every single replacement behavior. Never assume that the child can engage in this skill. I'm going to use the example of sitting in your seat because sitting in your seat is often a commonly missed skill deficit. So what you're going to do is you're going to ask the child to engage in the skill. So you're going to say, hey, I need you to sit right here in this chair. You're going to have them sit right there. And then you're just going to start a timer. You're going to see how long do they sit in that chair. Maybe they sit in the chair 30 seconds. Maybe they sit in the chair a minute. Maybe they sit in the chair 5 minutes. I don't know. And then you're going to try that 3 times. You may do that 3 times back to back. So you may say, hey, remember you're supposed to be sitting in your chair, and time them again. Or you may come back an hour later and say, hey, sit in this chair. I want to see how long you can sit in, or don't say I want to see how long you can sit in the chair. Just say, I need you to sit in this chair, okay? So you're going to have them do that 3 times. Don't necessarily tell them to beat their goal or tell them that you're looking at the duration. Just have them practice it 3 times. You're going to write down this times 3 times. And then you're going to say, hey, if you can sit in your chair longer this time than you did the last few times, you can earn this prize. So you're going to choose a prize that you know that they really would want to work on. Maybe that's some computer time or game time. Maybe that's a little special edible treat like a muffin or a cupcake or a cookie. Maybe it is playing a game with you. So you're going to say, hey, if you sit in your seat longer, this is what you're going to earn. And then you're going to walk away and you're going to time it. Now, if they sit in their seat longer, you're going to look, is this a skill deficit? Is this a performance deficit? Or is it both? So if they do better when they're offered a reward, you know that there's a bit of a performance deficit. They can do the skill, but they need incentive or motivation to help them engage in the effort. If there's no improvement, they sit in their chair the same amount of time with reward as they did without reward, you know this is purely a skill deficit. If they improved a little bit, but they're still not where you need them to be. So all the other kids, they can sit in their chair for 20 minutes. This child can sit in their chair for 5 minutes. If I offer a reward, they can sit in their chair for 10 minutes, but they're still not to that 20-minute mark, right? So then it's both a skill deficit and a performance deficit. So we need to build up the skill of sitting in their chair, plus offer a little bit more reward, okay? So that's sitting in the chair. I'm going to give one more example of a skill versus performance assessment. This is going to be with having a conversation. And so you're going to sit down, and instead of saying, you know, let's have a conversation, you're going to say, man, I'm having a great day today. I got to do, you're going to give them an example of something you did today. So maybe I went to the donut store this morning. You're not going to ask a question. You're not going to lead the conversation. You're just going to throw out a lead to a conversation. So another lead might be, I have a dog. So you're not going to say, do you have a dog? What kind of dog do you have? You're just going to say, I have a dog. So you're going to throw out the lead and see a typically developing child, a child that can have a conversation is going to say, oh, what kind of dog do you have? Or, oh, what kind of donut did you get? I love the donut store. And then you're going to have a conversation back and forth. And you're going to see how many times do you exchange in the conversation, or how long does the conversation go. But if you throw out and you say, I have a dog, and they say, okay, well, it might be that they can't have a conversation. So you're going to see, was this just a one-time thing? You're going to throw out another conversation lead. You're going to say, I like to go for walks on the weekend. I really enjoy walking with my daughter. If you get crickets, that's another piece of information. So then you're going to throw out another conversation lead. You're going to say, I like to go fishing. A typically developing person, if you say, I like to go fishing, would say, well, that's an interesting thing, but maybe this person wants to talk about fishing. And so they're going to say, oh yeah, do you like to fish in a boat or do you like to stand on the shore to fish? What kind of fish do you like to catch? When did you go fishing last? They're going to ask some questions. What kind of fish did you catch? They're going to follow your conversation. Then you're going to tell the child, hey, I've been trying to have a conversation with you and we haven't really talked much, but if you talk with me next time when we have a conversation, then, you can play on a video game for 5 minutes. So then you're going to say, I'm trying to think of a conversation lead here and I'm going blank. My favorite food is pizza. And then you're going to wait. Do they have a conversation with you? And then you're going to assess, did they do better when I offered reward? If the behavior was the same with and without reward, they didn't do it either way, it's a skill deficit. If they did better when they were offered reward, it's at least partially a performance deficit. If they performed like typically developing children when a reward was offered, it's solely a performance deficit. But if they just did slightly better, but still not what a typical child would do, then you know that it's both a skill and performance deficit. One thing that I would recommend that you do when you're doing a skill and performance deficit is do it with a typically developing child or a child who doesn't have concerns first to see how they do. That way you have a comparison to know what you're watching for. So thank you. I hope this is helpful and I look forward to the next topic.